Hi there, all you EditPad Pro users. I'm going to show you how to install Compare Helper, which is a tool that lets you combine EditPad Pro with WinMerge. Now, for this little tutorial, I'm going to assume that you've already acquired the Compare Helper zip, and if we click on it, we'll see what's in it. It has just 3 files, a documentation file, PDF file, the one file executable with a complete TickleTK system inside it, and also the compare utility, and a exported tool from EditPad Pro. Okay, so we go back up here. We can right click on the zip file and extract all, and we'll just put it in a folder right here. And let's resize this a bit and put it down here. I'm going to make it stay on top. No, that don't work. Oh, this one. Okay. I normally work on multiple screens, so I'm going to keep this on top because I want to bring up EditPad Pro version 8 without losing this window. And I want to drag and drop this in here so you can take a look at it. This is a exported tool. Very nice feature of EditPad Pro is he doesn't create binary files for all his little exported files, so you can just edit them, you can view them, you can see what it is that's under the table there. Anyhow, this is the what comes with the package, and you can change the caption, you can change the hint, but what's important is you're going to have to decide where do you want to keep compare.exe, which is, as you see, is in the zip file. You need to put it somewhere, but then you're going to have to tell EditPad Pro where it is. So you're going to have to do something to edit this path to over here and fill that in with wherever you left that. Now sometimes you can do things like right click this, copy address as text. That makes it easier to do that sort of thing. Now you could open up Tools, say Configure Tools, and come over to where I already have this installed. So I'm not going to install this again, but we're just going to go through as though I was going to install it. And for one thing, I find this rather small and hard for me to read, so that's why typically I don't edit the command line like that. I edit it over here, and this really nice feature they got now, control mouse wheel, makes it very easy for me to see what's going on and edit. So what you need is you need to fill in the path to compare, and then you're going to have to go and get yourself a copy of WinMerge. Now I use WinMerge Portable. I get it from the portableapps.com site, and I have a directory here. I'll bring it up in a second. Okay, so I have my portable apps over here and my D drive and stuff, and these are a number of the portable apps, and here's WinMerge Portable, and inside WinMerge Portable is this application here. So if we go back and we look again at the path here, that's what you need to do. So for this system would need to be D, stuff, portable apps, WinMerge Portable, WinMerge Portable.exe. And so if we look at the tools as to where I've already installed this, Figure Tools, go to Compare. You'll notice over here, that's what I filled in over there, and I wonder if this will work. Whoa, too much. Anyway, that's what I have to do to get to see the screen most of the time when it's small like this. Okay, so eventually you're going to, after you finish editing this file here, you're going to import this in under import like this, and then you would go and you would find that file, that one there, and you'd import it. What did I put in for the caption there? Because that's how he decides, not the caption, but the There's a title in there. Oh yeah, it is the caption. All right. So if you look over here, the caption is compare WM. So if I make that, if I change that and then write that file out, save, come back in here to tools, configure tools, import, and bring this guy in. Notice we got this new tool in here, and it's all set up pretty much the same options as this guy, except that some of the command line options that we'll talk about next. So what do we have here? We have to tell it, again, where you put compare, and then there's these three parameters right here. They represent X and the Y coordinates of where you want the compare helper window to come up, and the 600 serves two purposes. The 600 is the height in pixels of that window, and if I bring up the one, let me bring up the one that's already installed. I'm going to go here, where the heck is it? Okay, so the height would be, the 800 would, or 600 or whatever would represent that, and when you get it, first comes and it's set to the 00, every time you move this around, you hear a chirp? That's my clipboard tool called, what the heck is it called? Ditto. And I set him that anytime something goes up to the clipboard to give me a little chirp. Anyway, what's going on here is that each time you move this around or resize it, he's computing those numbers again, and he's copying them to the clipboard. So at that point, you would simply, if you like this position, say this is where you want the default thing to come up. Let's close that. We could come over here, select that, Control V, paste, and then you're all set for this. Now the reason it's done this way is compare helper then doesn't have to save anything on your system, doesn't have to write to the disk, doesn't have to write to the registry. What he's doing is he's making use of the fact that EduPad Pro has a configuration file that he's going to save all this information in. Now you want to do this pretty much only once, because the only time it's going to do that copy to the clipboard is if it comes up at 00. Now you could reset it to 00 if you wanted to move and resize the thing again and go through the same exercise. But usually once you got it, then it's set for good. Now in my case, I usually have this on my second screen, which you can't see because I'm only recording on the one screen. Okay, so let's get this out of the way for a second and go back to this. The next thing, now incidentally, this here is 3 separate command line arguments, and this in quotes is just one. Same thing with the files, and if the paths have spaces in them, you have to put them in quotes. That's why %file % has to have quotes around it, because this represents the file that you're working on. In this case, it would be this compare helper.ini, and he'd be filling it in, and notice that has a space in the name, and so when it replaces %file %, there's going to be a space, so you have to have that in quotes. And this set of quotes here, these are the parameters that are going to be passed to WinHex. The S, I believe, is what is it? Oh, single time only. In other words, it's not going to bring up a separate executable every time you do a compare. This is full screen. Max size is full screen. And the /E says I want to be able to quit with just hitting the escape key. And finally, at the end here is the full path, as you can see, to WinMerge. And the easiest way to set that up is when you finally have this in a place that you want it to be, you right-click on that and do copy as text. And then if we came in here, and I'll just bugger up this file, and you'll see what that ended up being. So he outputs everything up to, but not including the file name. So you'd have to add that, but then that's already here. So really all you got to do is replace that much. Anyway, and that would be all you'd have to do to set up your configuration, because the rest of the file here is going to deal with the other options, which in this case, if we go back into configure tools and we look at what happened to that new one I just brought in? I guess he's. Oh, I guess I didn't save them. All right. Any rate, there's these other tabs here, files, and there's really only the one that you select. This one here, save the current file if it has unsaved changes. If you don't do that, and you launch a comparison, you're not going to be comparing for what the current file is against something else. You're going to be comparing whatever it was the last time you wrote it out to disk. All the rest are left empty, and in standard I/O, that's pretty easy. Nothing, ignore, and you're set. Anyway, I'm going to throw away this editing we did here and quit with no save, and we're done. Thanks for listening.